It is finally time for me to talk about my top 10 favorite films from 2019. And this time, there is not going to be any honorable mentions to increase the unpredictability and the suspense of these reveals. So, let's get to it, shall we? At number 10, we have... So, at number 10, we have Honey Boy. Honey Boy is a film that was not directed by Shia LaBeouf, but it was written by Shia LaBeouf. And this is easily the most personal film of 2019. This is a autobiographical film. And, Shia LaBeouf is literally playing his, abusive father, for lack of a better term. He's, playing his bad father, And this movie is like a very bizarre meta, very surreal love letter to his father and his the horrible relationship with his father that was really just emotionally shattering. And there's this little kid who plays younger Shia LaBeouf. There's another actor who plays older Shia LaBeouf in the Transformers movies, and it really talks about his failing relationship with his father. It talks about his uncontrollable anger issues that he used to have, and self-loathing. And this film just has moments that just wrapped around me like a warm blanket, and it just sun-kissed me. And I was just so enamored by this film. I was just so transfixed by this film. There's just something about this film that just seeps into you, and it just takes you to a deep places. There's definitely some, because I gave Honey Boy a 9 out of 10, because sometimes it was just a little bit too meta for my taste. But honestly, this movie blew my mind, to be honest with you. Whoa. At number 9, we have The Irishman from Martin Scorsese. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was very skeptical about this film. The trailers just didn't really do anything for me in terms of excitement. They were just kind of bland, the trailers. Also, the film just kind of seems like, it kind of just seemed like been there, done that from the trailers. And I was totally fucking wrong. In my opinion, alright, I realize how much Goodfellas and Casino is loved, it's just my opinion, but honestly, I think this may turn out to be my favorite gangster film from Martin Scorsese. There's just something so quietly meditative about this film, this almost feels like the Avengers Endgame to old men mobster films, or just mobster films or gangster films in general. This film is 3.5 hours long, and I love this movie so much that I've already seen this film about 2 or 3 times already. There was a time where I was talking to my cousin, and I was like, hey, we should do some drinking, we should get fucked up, we should get a big meal, and we should, shoot the shit and, throw on The Irishman in the background. And this is just one of those kinds of movies, just one of those kinds of movies that you can throw on anytime and you have no problems letting it just gloss all over you. Marty, you did such a great job, and you did such a great job with the CGI. I really hate this style of CGI, but honestly, not only is it used incredibly well, but they really use the CGI like literal makeup, so it's very fascinating. But I just absolutely adore this film. 10 out of 10. Number 8. So number 8 is going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from Quentin Tarantino. I gave this film a 10 out of 10. This is probably the most fun I had at a theater last year. I drove about like 2.5 hours to go see. I went to a 35 millimeter screening of the film, and it was just, this is literally peak cinema. Okay, I think Tarantino has like maybe like one or two more films left, but honestly, this one was so fucking good. Not only could it turn out to be my favorite Tarantino film one day, but like it's literally, this time it's actually hard to imagine him topping this film. So whatever he does next, please. But literally we're in the 1960s, hanging out with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's fucking awesome. And they're in a Tarantino movie. It's awesome. That's why it's on the list, bitch. So, at number 7, we gotta go with Marriage Story. Now, I have no idea what the fuck spawned those illogical, hating-ass memes regarding Marriage Story. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I'm assuming that most people hadn't even seen the film when they were making these crazy, hating-ass comments. But let me tell you something. Marriage Story has some of the best acting of last year. There's so many scenes that are done in one take that are genuinely jaw-dropping. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are outstanding in this film, and this is literally the best performance I've ever seen from Scarlett Johansson. I've never seen Scarlett Johansson like this before. There's a scene in which she's acting, and it's all done in one take, and it goes on and on and on. And it's like, fuck, is this like a fucking like 5-minute sequence where she's just going and going and not stopping? It's just unbelievable. There's an argument in this film that is like one of the greatest arguments ever committed to cinema, honestly. And their performances are just it's a sight to behold. There is a great moment where Scarlett Johansson, she's talking a lot of shit, and fucking like Adam Driver just like completely cuts through that shit, and he's like, no, you've regressed. Yeah, that shit had me fucking dying. They were ripping each other apart. Seriously, this is such a emotional gut punch of a film. You have to see it. It just, the things that it makes you think about, the conversations that'll be spawned from this. This is like the perfect film to like watch and like go have a debate with someone about it, or go have a long conversation with someone about it. And this is something that you could literally learn a lot from. And like they don't feel like characters. They feel like real people. People were making fun of how Adam Driver punched a wall. Like, what the fuck? He's not trying to be Conor McGregor in the film, okay? He's a fucking, awkward, kind of shy, timid person in the film. You know what I mean? So the film is just incredible. Please check it out if you have not. At number 6, we have to go with Gaspar Noé's Climax. So Climax is a French film, spoken in French, and essentially there's this place in the middle of fuck nowhere, in the middle of winter, that these dancers are at. This big group of people who can dance. All these dancers are, they come to this place, they start partying, they start drinking this fruit punch, but the thing is, that fruit punch that everybody drank, it's been anonymously spiked with LSD. Acid, baby. Quickly just like careens into a fucking, there's a full out fucking nightmare. The performances are fantastic. The dancing is unbelievable. The score, like the soundtrack, makes me want to the soundtrack literally makes me want to just like stand up and dance until I'm just drenched with sweat. Watching the dancing in this film makes me want to just bust out dancing for fucking like like a few hours. Like, This is not only one of the most thought-provoking films from last year, but this is the best dance movie that I've ever seen. Okay, usually when there's dance movies, it's like Step Up 2 or some shit. This is the best, most mind-fucking dance film you will ever see. And you need to witness it. You need to witness this film. Because this is not so much a film that you watch, but more so a film that you feel. It's really something. It's way, way, way out there. Highly recommend it. At number 5. At number 5, we gotta go with Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. Parasite, simply put, is the most important film of the year. Not this one. This one. Parasite, yes. The way that it speaks to the discrepancies between higher class and lower class in society is just razor sharp, dark as fuck. Like this movie is so dark, and then it's so funny, and then it's so scary. It's literally like multiple genres going on all at once. It's literally like a movie embodiment of that one Tupac quote.
Again, you have to be logical. You know, if I know that in this hotel room they have food every day, and I'm knocking on the door every day to eat, and they open the door, let me see the party, let me see like them throwing salami all over I mean, just like throwing food around. Or they're telling me there's no food in here. You know what I'm saying? Every day. I'm standing outside trying to sing my way in. You know what I'm saying? We are hungry, please let us in. We are hungry, please let us in. After about a week, that song is going to change to, we hungry, we need some food. After 2-3 weeks, it's like, you know, give me all the food, breaking out the door. And after a year, and you just like, you know what I'm saying, I'm picking the lock, coming through the door, blasting, you know what I'm saying?
It's a 10 out of 10. And for the record, if I didn't, just in case I didn't say already, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Marriage Story, Climax, and Parasite, these are all 10 out of 10s. Number 4. Go with Portrait of a Lady on Fire. It just occurred to me that I didn't memorize the names of anybody from this movie. Shit, I should have thought about that before. Oh well. Apparently this movie was like filmed in 8K, I believe, and it fucking shows. The cinematography is. It makes you want to just like bite your nails. The cinematography is so gorgeous and just dripping, just soaked in beauty. Every single fucking shot of this film feels like it should belong in a fucking museum for people to stare at. You know, the romance is just so it just like an ocean wave. This movie just like washes over you and just like pulls you in, and it's just so hypnotic. There's surreal moments, which I thought was fascinating. Like there is sprinkles of surrealism in this film that really got to me. Their romance is just so heart-achingly beautiful. And the ending. Oh my God, the ending of the film. Also, oh my God. I mean, both of these women are so beautiful, but their performances are so fantastic. This woman is so beautiful. She's oh God, I just love I love how this movie, it doesn't have any music, you know, and because it doesn't have music, like you can almost feel that, like when they are breathing on each other, it's like you can feel it because of the lack of music, you know, because of the lack of music. Like when they're really close together, it's almost like you can almost feel their body heat. You know, kind of like if you're watching a scene that takes place in the winter, and like the scene, it looks cold, and you almost start to feel the coldness. Does that make sense? Yeah, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. This is basically sort of like this year's Call Me By Your Name. Basically. At number 3, we gotta go with Uncut Gems from the Safdie brothers. As you guys know, I was over the moon excited for this film. Like I've seen all their feature-length films, Daddy Longlegs, Heaven Knows What, about the heroin user. I think that's what it's called. Sorry if I fucked up the title. And then Good Time. First off, all of their feature-length films are 10 out of 10s. In my opinion. Their first feature-length film is about a irresponsible father. And then the feature after that, Heaven Knows What, is about a heroin addict. Good Time is about a street thug trying to save his brother. And now we have Uncut Gems, which is just literally is about the chaotic life of Howard Ratner, this jewelry guy in New York, and basically he's trying to pull off the biggest bet of his life. This is the most intense film I've ever seen. Prior to that, fun fact, it was The Hurt Locker and Hard Candy. The opening few minutes to this film is the best opening to any film from last year. The opening to this film is extraordinary. The film opens with a sequence that takes place in 2010. The first big sweeping shot that we see in Uncut Gems is fucking unbelievable. Okay, unbelievable. It's almost as if we are panning over a site that's like fucking prehistoric, being investigated by niggas trying to dig up bones or some shit. that's what it felt like. The opening to this film was so mind-blowingly visually epic and ominous, and the opening to this film immediately makes you uneasy, like already, even just a few seconds in, you're already uneasy. There are so many batshit fucking things that happen in this goddamn film, and the movie, it just gets more and more and more uneasy and intense and anxiety inducing. Honestly, when we were in the third act, I almost thought I was having cardiac arrest at certain points, because the movie never slows down. The movie never lets you relax. I was literally like a closed fist watching this film the whole time. And then the third act, when we finally get to see what happens to Howard, does Howard pull off this crazy bet? Does he finally get all the money that he's been so desperately trying to get this whole time? The way that this movie ends is just one of the nuttiest pieces of cinema I've seen in a very long time. The ending was so extraordinary that I was literally laughing out loud uncontrollably, because it was only until when the credits started rolling that I finally was able to relax. So when the credits rolled for this movie, I was just like because I had been this close fist the whole time. I've never experienced something like that before. I've seen the film twice now, and on both occasions in the third act, when we finally get to see what happens to Howard, everybody in the audience was like, oh, this is just bruising cinema. I highly recommend it. This movie is literally a cinematic adrenaline shot. The score is just so wonky and out there and just awesome. All the acting is fantastic, and this is Adam Sandler's. This is his best performance ever. The Safdie brothers, they spent 10 years working on this, and honestly, it's really just one big cinematic endurance test. Uncut Gems is obviously a 10 out of 10. Number 2. Ari Aster's Midsommar. I have been so obsessed with this world inside of Midsommar. This is the type of film that you like just get lost in. This is the type of film that I could watch again and again, and I could always like get lost in the woods while watching the film. The music, the sun-kissed cinematography, you know, I just the music is the most gorgeous, is the most hypnotic music from 2019. Like, this music could literally put you in a trance-like state. This movie has such a magnetic power over me, and I've literally, from beginning to ending, I've literally seen Midsommar about 5 or 6 times. I also got to see the director's cut in theaters. I am just so utterly obsessed with this movie. It has my favorite ending of the year. The ending to Midsommar is one of the trippiest, craziest, just one of the most far out things I've ever witnessed in cinema. There's just something so punk rock and just evil and just something so dark, just pitch black about the ending to this film. And really, this whole film, I'm still not 100% what all this crazy shit means, but simply put, this is the most beautiful horror film that I've ever seen. Granted, clearly it borrows a lot from previous films, like say The Wicker Man, but honestly, if you can just move that aside, this might actually be the most, in execution, I think this is actually like the most original film of the year. There's just something about this film that I just can't stop thinking about. It's just so, Florence Pugh is just a revelation. The whole cast is great, but her performance was just so revelatory. And I'm calling it right now. I think Florence Pugh is going to be a main character, or one of the main characters, in an upcoming Christopher Nolan film. Mark my words. God, there's just so many. There's just so, like all the rituals, all the horror elements, how the film is so psychedelic to the point that like it's kind of like disorienting. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. I highly recommend this daytime psychedelic, fucked up fairy tale like mind fuckery horror film. This movie sounds like something that was written by Satan himself. It's darkly hilarious. You guys have to check this out. You might not love it as much as I do because it's fucking way out there. So you might not love it as much as I do, but I just can't stop thinking about it. And finally, at number 1, we have to go with Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. Look, everything about this film is perfect. My favorite film of all time is The Matrix. The only films that have almost changed that was Blade Runner 2049 and The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is an 11 out of 10 film. In my opinion, everything about this film is fucking perfect. Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe deliver maybe 2 of the best performances I've ever seen. And particularly with Willem, I think Willem's performance might literally be the best performance I have ever seen from any actor or actress, TV show or film ever. It is I mean, the cinematography is almost like eerily perfect in its precision. You know, you can tell like there's a precision in the way that these shots are composed. Like you can tell like okay, someone went to like extraordinary lengths to pull off these shots, and you can really get a sense of that. I love the boxy aspect ratio. I love the beautiful use of film grain. The seagull might be the creep. I think the seagull is probably the creepiest animal I've ever seen on film before. This movie is laugh out loud funny. It is like a scathingly dark film. This movie is so surreal that, to be completely honest with you, I'm not even entirely sure what the fuck happened in this film. I have like a list of theories about what this movie is really about. On its surface, it appears to be two men stuck on an island in the 1800s who lose their fucking minds. There's so much mind-fucking symbolism. There's so many extraordinary visual metaphors. There's so many dream sequences that are not only nightmarish, but they just like the images. Like one of them involves a mermaid. Listen, the images from like these nightmare moments, they just like, these images just like sear themselves onto your fucking retina, onto your retinas, and like there's just something about this film that like it's so vivid. There's so many ways to interpret this film. There's so many things to unpack and dissect for meaning. There's so many Easter eggs. The dialogue is period accurate, and it's some of the most complex and thought-provoking, beautiful dialogue that I've ever heard. There's a moment where Robert Pattinson is drunk as fuck, and there's a part where he goes, "Oh, but if I had a steak, I'd fuck it." I love this film. It's an 11 out of 10, and it is my #1 favorite film from 2019. So, some of the films on this list, they don't have official reviews. I don't know if they will. You know, we'll see. You know, it's going to be a very, very busy year, so we'll see. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and love you guys. See you in the next video.